Hey, what up? I'm Parks Bonifay. This is my 2010 Ronix Ibex. We got a new shape, wider tip and tail, X carbon going through the middle to maintain stiffness. A little less rocker, a lot more surface area, new glass, new foam, new board. 2010 Ronix Ibex. I feel as my riding's changed over years, my boards have kind of mimicked how I rode at the time. A while ago, my boards were really aggressive. Nowadays, I come in with a little bit softer edge and go more wake to wake. And with that, I made a lot of the features to where it's really easy to ride and a lot more forgiving than a lot of my boards are in the past. I've been on clinics to where beginners who just get up out of the water to guys who can do flips to my friends at home who ride it. It seems like every level of riding, there's something in the Ibex that really works for them. One of the best features about all Ronix boards is pretty much how traditional boards in the past have been really aggressive contour bottoms, different concaves going all through the board, which kind of confuses the water. And I really wanted to start from scratch on the slate and really just know what the water's doing all the way through the board. So if you notice with any Ronix boards, it's really smooth through the belly, minimum contours, pretty much only what I feel is really needed. And with having two fins, I think that's when you're on edge to edge, it's really all you need. And I feel simpler is pretty much better. Less is more in the sense of contour bottoms on a board, which I feel Ronix has established, we've believed in from the beginning, and still you can tell in the 2010 boards. With the Ibex this year, along with it being wider, I think it's very important to have as much width and as much surface area as you can. And along with that, I think it's really important for your board to hold its shape. And the new Carbon X going symmetrically through the center of the board, it really ensures that your board's going to hold its rocker line as you hit the wake, no matter what speed you're at, whether you're coming at it fast or slow. The board's going to maintain its stiffness over time, whether it's in the sun or water. Another change with the Ibex is the rocker line. I blended, where in the last year's Ibex we had a really hard rocker line just inside the boot. I blended that out, and what that did is it dropped it probably just about 1/8 of an inch. Doesn't seem much in rocker, but it really makes the board a lot faster. But when you lose rocker with a board, you often lose pop, which is why I added width to the tip and tail and slightly to the belly to make it ride higher on the water, and you still get the pop that you would normally get with an Ibex, which I feel with how big the wakes are nowadays and how I come into the wake, more of a softer edge and drifting in on the tail, I feel that's what I want with a 3-stage rocker. And so you get a faster glide and still all the pop that you want with the wide tip and tails. One of the features that we did is we took the bottom grooves and we started it further into the belly of the board, making the water link up with it earlier and funnel through the fins off the back of the board, which is really important to how smooth it rides and what kind of fin traction you get. Another feature that I wanted to keep with the Ibex is this beveled rail. Mine has a half radius, which means it pretty much goes a half circle up to this hard rail right here. And if you look just inside of the toe, it bleeds to a hard rail. I did that because I feel the board in front of the toe and the heel of the board is how it's going to really sit in the water when you go to push. So I wanted it to be fat through the middle and then go to a thin hard rail from just inside the boot to the tail. So I feel that's a really good blend on how the water, when you're going from flat outside the boat into the board, has a nice transition on your way to the wake. And so pretty much you go from riding flat, being high on the water, to coming into the wake where you have more of a 2-stage rail here. It kind of goes into a 2-stage at the top and goes to a really thin cupped rail at the tail, which is really what makes the board sit deep in the water when you're coming into the wake. So to have both of those is pretty much my goal of the Ibex, is to have a board that rides high in the water and loose when you're flat and then still has a nice edge when you're coming into the wake. Since I've been with Ronix, I've come up with, for as simple as my graphic was in the past, I feel that's one of my favorite graphics I've ever had. So I really like the vibe of the metal and the chrome and the industrial look that it had in the past, and which is kind of what I wanted to keep along with this one. We added a stress, 3M ink all the way through the board that kind of cracks all the way through. We got these sick badges right here, and pretty much I like the whole gray industrial vibe of what the Ibex is and kind of the vibe it's had in the past with the Type Boring collection. And I didn't really want to go too crazy or do too much, so I think it's real subtle, tone on tone kind of stuff, and I'm into it.